Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car. Okay, you ready? All right, 100 and
All right, good morning, everyone. Test mic, test mic. It's January 14, 2025, 9:32 in the morning. Just looking at what the market is going to give us today. So SPY is up by $2.13 or 0.37%. Pre-market low is at 581.5 with a pre-market high of 585.95. So a nice gap up of $2.22 currently. We're watching Tesla. Tesla is up by 2.7% with a pre-market low of 406, pre-market high of 416.5. So a nice gap up of $2.22 currently. We're watching Tesla. Trying to check if we are all set. Yep. So all connected here. We're also watching MSTR. MSTR is gap up by $13.45, 333.97 pre-market low with a pre-market high of 345. Looking at the daily, we have a couple of moving average at the daily there. We are about to do an opening range breakout here. Looking at the 5 minutes, let's look at the 1 minute. 1 minute still, volume bar is dying here. Could be just under consolidation here. Let's see, yesterday was very strong. This one, let's see, preparing a small order to the upside. We are about to break the pre-market high here, so it is setting up as an opening range breakout. There is not a lot of orders yet, both at the bid and the ask, so we are gonna have a tight stop loss here just below the VWAP there. So looking at a smaller time frame, pre-market low is at 333. Now we do have a support at 342.9. We open a very small position at MSTR to the long. So stop loss here is below 342.66. Adding to that position, just a small position there. So this one is moving nicely. There is a buildup of volume at the ask, so that's very bullish. So now we have created here a very nice, well, it created for us a very nice setup to the upside. Let's look at the volume bar. Volume bar here. Let's see. Added to my position there to the long. We did get the confirmation 346, 347. Having a pullback there, 46. So now next support here is this 344.79. Look at the 5 minutes. 5 minutes struggling at 347.35. We do have a support and a very strong resistance at 346.24. So 346.24, very strong resistance there. Now we have to be very careful with this one because of a wide spread. So 347.43, 46. struggling at that resistance. So strong resistance here now is at 347.69. 347. They're pushing this one to 348. 348. That was a quick 348. 47.65. Taking some partial here. Oops, took some partial again. Did not fill me at that 348.39. So SPY is creating an opening range breakout as well. Big rejection there. MSTR daily, we're encountering a resistance there. This one is about to break 348.36. Taking some partial. 349, they're pushing this one to 349. We do have some shares left still. Big rejection there at 348.6. 348. So looking at the tape here, 348.30. 348.50. They're pushing this one to 349. Took another partial there. All right. Big rejection at 349. All right, time to put in our stop loss here above our entry. All right, so I got stop out there, but we were able to catch that move. So we were able to capture the move from 345 all the way to 348. More than $2 move there. All right, next trade. All right, Tesla created an opening range breakout as well. We were there. We were trading MSTR. So let's see if, wow, MSTR stop is out, but still has potential for the move upside. Wow, momentum here is still there. All right, we are looking for an easy trade here. XPEV is up by 9.9%. Not a lot of volume though, 2.4 million. Pre-market low is at 12.69, pre-market high at 13. All right, MSTR. So the easy trade on MSTR is done because we were able to do opening range breakout. We rode the momentum up. RGTI is encountering that strong resistance at the daily. So you have the VWAP there. So let's put our level, pre-market low 607, pre-market high 6.95. So that's a less than $1 move. It will be hard to capture that move. So we move on to the next XPEV. Having a strong resistance at 13, which is, let's see, not a lot of levels in the daily. I don't like that it's just moving less than 50 cents. For you to be able to be profitable with that, you need to take a lot of shares. MSTR now having a pullback. So pullback here. All right, so what are we looking for at MSTR? We're looking for a 9 EMA where it will pull back at the 9 EMA and has a potential to move higher again. right, so now about to touch VWAP. Now a lot of volume here when it's pushing down. All right, let's see what, I don't like Apple. Look at the wicks right here, but looking at the daily, Apple is actually strong. Daily here, you have this hammer from yesterday up by, so Apple is making a VWAP play. So you have the VWAP acting as a strong support there. So we'll start a small position here to the long for Apple. We just have to be very careful with the wick. Spread here is 0.04. So small position there to the upside. Support there is at 234. What I like about Apple is the daily. Daily looks very strong. The good entry here is at this level, 234. 234 is the pre-market low, and that's where it had that bounce. All right, SPY is encountering a strong resistance, so we have to be careful with our Apple trade here. So we have a small position in Apple to the long. Tesla having a pullback. MSTR, we're still waiting for MSTR to touch at the 5 minutes, touch the 9 exponential moving average, which is all the way down here at 334, and that's the time that we get to see if that 9 EMA will act as a strong support. From that 9 EMA, we can ride it up again to the upside. So right now, we only have a very small position to the upside for Apple. So small position, Apple, the long. So Apple, what we saw was the one that we liked. The setup here is the daily. You have a very strong hammer from yesterday. We open a small position. Now a lot of volume here. So expect some consolidation to happen in Apple. I don't like that there's a lot of wick in Apple. That's why we only open a small position. Now, what SPY is doing is it's just inside our pre-market high and a pre-market low. So yeah, just some consolidation with SPY as well as with Apple. AMD, what is AMD doing? AMD is testing a very nice support here, which is it already broke yesterday's high. So let's put a level in AMD. AMD pre-market low with a pre-market high of next support here is all the way down here, which is 115, all the way down here. So small position in Apple. All right, that's a big volume bar right here, but we're only looking at 1 minute. So not a lot of volume bar when it's pushing up. So stop loss here is that 234.87. So that's how we trade. We start with a small position. If there's a confirmation, we add to that position. Big volume bar here. Now, if SPY breaks this resistance, then we can add to our Apple trade. Also, we'll consider adding to our Apple trade if there's a bid and ask and there's more order sitting at the ask and the prints of green here. So simultaneously, we are considering that how's the bid and ask. How's your tape looking? How's your SPY looking? SPY right now just break that VWAP. So adding right now with Apple doesn't look like a good move for now. So we're watching this one closely. We're gonna get stop out at this support. SPY is about to test the low of the day, which is low of the day for SPY is 583.29. We are getting close to this support, which is 234.85 will be our stop loss. All right, what else is moving? AMD, we're waiting for AMD to touch this support, which is all the way to 115.24. At that point, if we saw a strong support there, then we can ride that one to the long. All right, MSTR setup that we're waiting for is the 9 EMA, where it will pull back at this 9 EMA and we can ride it up. All right, Apple very close to getting step out here. All right, SPY just tested the low of the day. That low of the day, after testing that, had that bounce. So that means our Apple has a potential for a bounce as well. If we do see the imbalance again within the bid and the ask, more on the ask and lots of prints and the tape of green prints, then we will add to that small position to the long. All right, SPY still bouncing from today's low of the day. All right, we're missing a volume bar right here. All right, a little bit of a volume there. We're now at the VWAP. If SPY goes above the VWAP, then we'll add to our long position in Apple. Got SPY. SPY is just consolidating just below the VWAP, waiting for the add to Apple. Adding to Apple when SPY goes above 584.21. All right, Apple looking good here. All right, adding long to Apple. We are now at the VWAP, above the VWAP, still consolidating here, but we do have this hammer, which is very strong. So we just added to the position in Apple, just a small add there. So Apple here pushing higher. Now resistance here is that R3. Looking at the 5 minutes, a little bit of a volume is picking up, but comparing this volume to this volume at the open, this is nothing. So what I don't like is SPY just rejected the VWAP. So we have to consider that with Apple as well. SPY still about to test the low of the day. So with that, just put our stop loss above our entry. I don't like that SPY is about to test the low of the day again. All right, so we got stop out with Apple. Thing that made me have that stop loss in Apple is SPY keeps on retesting the low of the day. The more it tests the low of the day, the higher the probability that it will break that support. All right, so we've been watching AMD as well. AMD, let's see if AMD S3, not really the strongest support yet for that bounce. Plus, AMD is missing that volume. All right, MSTR. MSTR touched you have the 9, you have the 20, and it just ripped higher. All right, Tesla here, encountering that VWAP, so this can be a VWAP play. Not a lot of volume here. SPY still consolidating. How this the daily looks like. Yeah, still looking weak here. All right, let's look for an easy trade. All right, I am looking for a long with AMD once it establishes support. So what I'm looking for is big rejection here at the moving average. Not a lot of volume bar yet, so expect some consolidation there. Nvidia falling here. All right, Nvidia encountering a strong support here, 133. 133 is also, let's see, pre-market low here, pre-market high. So we look for a bounce at 133.25 in Nvidia. 133. 133 is also, let's see, AMD still falling, MSTR. All right, so this is the reason why you have to consider different factors. SPY, look at this one. We were able to make $28, but if I did not have a tight stop loss, SPY already is giving us a hint that it's weak because it's been below the VWAP. It tested the low of the day a couple of times. After it tested that support couple of times through enough, it broke that support. All right, so AMD. All right, AMD, we are looking for this 115. That is the low. Let me just data. So 115.30. That's the strong support from. Support that we're waiting AMD to touch. All right, MSTR, we're still waiting for that 90 MA, touch 90 MA, and we can consider doing a long there if we have more volume sitting at the ask and the tape is printing lots of bright green there. All right, Apple here. This is the reason why we stepped away from Apple, because it was still weak at that time. All right, Tesla about to test the low of the day for 112. AMD. All right, we're still waiting for AMD to test the support. 150.97. Where is that? All right, so SPY is actually forming a 90 MA at the 5 minutes. All right, so still lots of volume here. 116.40. SPY is pushing up. All right, so we're waiting for an entry to the long on AMD. Still a lot of orders sitting here at the bid, so that's very bearish. SPY still looking weak. All right, so wait for 115.30. Apple here. We're testing that support. Volume bar missing. All right, SPY encountered the support. All right, yeah, about to test the support here. AMD here. Still waiting for AMD to test the support, 115.30. Apple about to retest the support. Tesla bouncing just a little. All right, we're waiting for a reversal with AMD. Time is it? Less than 30 minutes since the market opened. Volume bar here. So AMD already moved 118 to 116. Still has a big way here to test that support. All right, SPY. Look at this one, a fake out. So SPY in the 1 minute, it looks like it was about to have that reversal and then now retested again the low of the day. So Tesla testing the low of the day, about to break and go below that low of the day. All right, MSTR now getting interesting. So we're waiting for MSTR to test this 9 EMA and potential for a long. So of all the lists that we have, it just keeps on testing the support. Even Apple, look at the volume bar in Apple. Apple is starting to get interesting. If we find a bounce in SPY, Apple can be a good place to bounce as well. This one, volume bar, when it's pushing down, is dying. So a little bit of a tides have been turning for a push higher in Apple. All right, AMD. All right, about to test. This is what we're waiting for AMD to test the support 115.24. So we have called that out earlier that we will be interested on what will AMD do at 115, which is this level 115.30. So I keep on, we're watching AMD, MSTR, Apple. MSTR, the strategy that we're waiting for is a 9 EMA. Apple, it's a bounce as well in 9 EMA. AMD is a bounce from a very strong support from yesterday, 115.28. Tesla is about to create a 9 EMA trade here as well. This is your 9 EMA, which is also the low of the day, acting as a very strong support. If SPY bounce back up, which looks like it because of the 1 minute, you have this hammer right here, although volume bar is still very strong. Apple retesting the support, AMD 115.79. All right, Tesla, very interesting here. You get your doji with Tesla. So Tesla, potential for a bounce up. AMD, you have still that way to go down 115.28. Tesla, we're looking for a long in Tesla, a long in MSTR, a long in Apple, a long in AMD. So let's just put it in one UBT. I'm just putting it in one screen so it's easier to track. All right, NVIDIA now is at yesterday's close. All right, couple of NVIDIA retesting closing price from yesterday. So I am gonna share this screen that I'm watching for a bounce. All right, so what we're watching for here is a bounce. I'm watching Tesla, MSTR, Apple, AMD for a bounce. AMD already bounced. Let's see if AMD is still locking. So AMD still locking that volume, but all right, Tesla here, also with the doji. Okay, doing long in Tesla. MSTR creating a 90 MA as well, doing a small long. AMD doing a small long with AMD as well, and Nvidia doing a small long. So we do have a couple of long here, which we will be watching closely. All right, so Nvidia, so we have 4 longs here. We are just riding the long here. All right, MSTR looking good for a long. So a couple of things that we do long: AMD long, MSTR long, Nvidia long, Tesla long. All right, MSTR looking good here. We rode it long. All right, taking some partial here. Since this is a couple of stocks that we are trading right now, I just have to tighten up stop loss. Oops, took some partial there. Tesla. All right, so we are behind that move at MSTR. Tesla here, rejection. All right, AMD, rejection as well. MSTR here, that 90 MA. So this is the importance of sticking to your plan. We waited patiently for MSTR to touch the 90 MA at the 5 minutes, and from there we are just riding this one. Took some partial. Let's adjust. Moving average is right there. Our stop loss is behind it. Nvidia, we took a long here. We're gonna have a tight stop loss there. AMD looking good with our long. Tesla here, still on that. So Tesla is still consolidating here. Five minutes. Still looking good there. So very close to getting stop out in Tesla. MSTR here, looking nice. We waited for that 90 MA. All right, MSTR still consolidating here, but we were able to ride it up. AMD looking nice. All right, Tesla still consolidating. MSTR very nice here. Waiting for a break of that VWAP 344.46. Okay, took some partial there. Update our stop loss. Couple of shares left there. All right, Tesla here. You were able to ride that long. AMD, we were able to ride this one long. Nvidia as well. Wow, MSTR here is just so strong, so we are just trailing our stop loss there. So now SPY is above the VWAP. Tesla rejection again there. Big rejection again at 415 in Tesla. MSTR still very strong here. Just giving it some time to consolidate. But very profitable trade here in MSTR. All right. Let's take some partialing MSTR. It's a very good move. 5 minutes. Let's trail our stop loss there just below the VWAP. Tesla here still consolidating. AMD, we have a long position there. So with Tesla, time to take some partial. Let's go. Took some partial on Tesla. AMD is just consolidating. So this is our position here. So we took a long AMD, MSTR, Nvidia, Tesla with that bounce. MSTR, take some partial. So partialing 25%, trailing our stop loss. It's gonna be behind that moving. Tesla here, our stop loss is above our entry. Nvidia here, consolidating. SPY is above the VWAP. Took some partial. Time to move our stop loss above our break even to protect the profit. AMD, we took a bounce there. All right, Tesla looks like it had a pullback. AMD is the one that we don't have any stop loss yet. MSTR, moving our stop loss at the VWAP. AMD here, what are you doing? All right, AMD still consolidating. All right, so MSTR stop us out, Nvidia, Tesla stop us out. AMD, SPY is at the VWAP. We're giving some time with AMD. We have a very small position. Average cost is 116.19, which is just about here where the current price is. Okay, so what I don't like about AMD is look at the volume bar here. There's no, all right, took some partial there. I don't like that there's not a lot of volume. Although SPY is bouncing back, there's not a lot of volume here with AMD. So I have a tight stop loss there. Took some partial there, very small profit, but just wanted to trail my stop loss. This one still has, what time is it? 10:11. So all right, time to trail that stop loss. I'm not partialing like crazy like MSTR just because I only have 300 shares here with AMD. So I'm just trailing my stop loss there. If it stopped me out, then yeah, that would be it for the day. All right, so next setup. What other setups? So Tesla stop us out, but it is now at the VWAP. Yeah, but how much? So Tesla, it's like nothing. All right, so it stop us out. AMD, won't be surprised. So what I don't like with AMD, that's why I have a tight stop loss, is this. SPY is above the VWAP, but what AMD is doing is, look at this volume bar right here. Volume bar is dying when it's pushing up. So the momentum for this one to go up is not there. It can just consolidate before it moves up, but I don't want to be stuck in that consolidation. So yeah, couple of shares, a couple of stocks today that we traded. Is not there. It can just consolidate. All right, so what else? Apple, look at this. Apple stop us out, but now, yeah. So what caught our attention with Apple is this one, this hammer at the daily. You want to pay a lot of attention with the daily. Look at this one, just so strong. Apple only gave us $28, AMD 66, MSTR 2500. Big rejection there. SPY also had a rejection. MSTR 2500, Nvidia 67, Tesla 32. So, wow, there's really nothing with this other trades aside from MSTR that we were able to capture the move. All right, so trying to see if there's any other easy trade. So the goal always is to catch the easy move. What strategy that we use today is 9 EMA, a reversal, as well as an opening range breakout. All right, so what we can see here now is Apple tested this very strong resistance. That resistance is actually not the pre-market high because you do have a pre-market high at 236, but big rejection at 236.03. You get that wick, but look at SPY, the 1 minute, big order came as well, big rejection there. So yeah, we can, Tesla now is moving. So Tesla stop us out here and now it's moving. But yeah, I think we'll call it a day. It's, let's see, 45 minutes since the market opened and we've been trading for the last 45 minutes. And yeah, we'll do a recap. So let's see, test mic. Let's make sure everything is connected. Yeah, I think we'll call it a day. All right, so good morning, everyone. And it's January 14, 2025, 10:15 in the morning. 45 minutes into the trading day and we will call it a day. So we traded a couple of stocks today. We just saw our setups forming, so we were just doing the same old setup. Just like what we have been discussing before, what you want to do is to have a solid setup, and once that setup starts to form, then don't be afraid to trade the setup. So first is we traded MSTR. MSTR, for a couple of weeks now, we haven't seen any strong opening range breakout setup. Now today is a different day. So what MSTR had been doing, right at the open, it is above 3% up. So we were able to see that it has a catalyst. I did not even know the news. I don't have time to read the news, especially at the market open. I will sometimes read the news when I'm waiting for the move and waiting for, either my stop loss or my profit target to get hit. But today I really did not have time because we were waiting for the setup. The setup came so quickly that we have to act on it. So let's digest what the market had been doing. So SPY is up more than $2 at the open. So we have our pre-market low at 581. Let me just get my pen. At 581 with a pre-market high at 585. At the open, it is just almost in between our pre-market high and our pre-market low. So we were at the sideline. Now with the scanner, what we have been seeing is Tesla, MSTR, Apple, AMD, Nvidia, very strong, and we've been watching it at the open. So the thing that caught my attention is MSTR. MSTR did not even get the chance to look at the float. So, okay, thank goodness it's not a low float. It's a 204 million. It was so strong, like at the open, did not even get to do the checks that I get to do. First check is it opening, close to the pre-market high? Is it opening close to the pre-market low? Is it not a low float stock? Because we do not touch a low float stock. Anything between or anything below a float of less than 20 million, we don't touch that because that can be a pump and dump. So this one did not get to see the float, but it was so strong that I needed to act on the setup on that strategy. So let's remove some of the levels here so we can see this clearly on what setup it did. All right, at the open, it closed yesterday at 328. It opened at 341, so more than 3%. Scanner was able to give us that list that MSTR is strong today, because our scanner tells us what are the strong stocks that is gapping up above 3%, or what is the weak stock that is gapping down more than 3%. So scanner tells us MSTR is active. Current volume that's actively being traded is 4.9 million. It is shortable. And our pre-market low, which we just deleted, is at 324 with a pre-market high of 345. So very strong move there. What is this? Pre-market low is at 333. Now this is the daily. We already saw a huge gap up at the daily, although there is some moving average there, so not an A+ setup. But what we saw with a higher time frame, specifically in the 5 minutes, is I have my pre-market high 345, which is this level at the 5 minutes, pre-market low 333, which is this level. Look at what an A setup to an opening range breakout it's forming. Now the daily, I can rate this trade as an A- because the daily, we do have some moving average there. But look at the 5 minutes. So you have your pre-market high, pre-market low. It opened close to the pre-market high. So once it opens close to the pre-market high, our setup there, our strategy is a potential for an opening range breakout. So I entered long at the pre-market high, small position, and it's been respecting that very strong pre-market high, which is now acting as a support. Added to my position when it was above the VWAP and just partialing like crazy at the top of the VWAP. Now let's go to a smaller time frame so we get to see the partialing that's happening behind it. Partialing for me sometimes, if it's just a small move, 25% of my position, sometimes 50. So depending on the move, if it's a very big move, then we just partial 50%. But for this one, we want to maximize the move, so we've been partialing 25%. So about to go above the pre-market high, about to create that opening range breakout, and that's the reason why we were entering and adding, building up to this position with MSTR. So enter long, added to the position, watching this one very closely because the spread here is like at one point like 30 cents to 25 cents. Partial here, 25%, partial, and then stop loss is above the break even. So we were able to capture that move, and that move alone is, although it doesn't look like it's a big move, if we hover around it, so this is 345.3 and 348.9 or 0.81. Let's go above 345, 348. So we're talking about $3 move there. So that $3 move is already a nice profit, especially since we were building up our position here. So yeah, quick, easy trade there. Now, after we got stop out, our stop loss got hit, I was already calling out that easy trade with MSTR already happened. So we're not supposed to touch it unless it creates a 9 EMA trade. So we were very patient in waiting for MSTR to show us a setup of a 9 EMA, which we discussed in our class, one of our favorite setup, where you have a very strong stock gapping up, pushing through, you ride the momentum dies, it touches the 9 EMA, you ride at the pullback to the 9 EMA, you ride it up. So you don't want to base your trade based on the 1 minute. What we are doing is we're switching back and forth with the 5 minutes and the 1 minute. But with the 1 minute, what I'm just looking at here is the volume bar. So what I'm looking at is some anomaly in the volume bar that will give us, is the momentum coming for MSTR to push higher? So I'm looking at the volume bar here, but at the entry, I am looking at the 5 minutes. All right, so you keep going back 1 minute and the 5 minutes. So here. So this is our first trade with MSTR, profitable trade, $3 move. The next trade is, we were waiting patiently, saying that at the 5 minutes, once it touched the 9 EMA, then we will consider it to the upside, going back and forth, the SPY, the tape, as well as the level 2. It did not disappoint, and it gave us that setup. So the setup that we were able to see here is, we waited patiently, it was consolidating at the VWAP, and then lost the VWAP, and boom, look at this one. That's the 9 exponential moving average that we were waiting for. I was calling it out. Once it touched the 9 exponential moving average, then we will consider it to a long. So what I saw here is, look at how it respected that 9 EMA. This candlestick touched that 9 EMA, and the next candlestick, it opened just very tiny above the low of this candlestick, which is still respecting that 9 EMA as a nice support. So what we did, we're going back and forth, the 9 EMA in the 5 minutes, and looking at a smaller time frame, looking for an entry there, smaller time frame. It shows us that doji, which is a sign of indecision, and you have your 9 EMA there at the 1 minute. So we entered long, and look at the importance of timing your entry. Once you time your entry, it's basically just waiting for that setup to go. It did not even touch, retested that support, and the momentum, we were able to capture that momentum. So since this is a 9 EMA, we were able to get a good profit already at that nice bounce, or at that nice opening range breakout strategy. At this point, I was not able to build up my position because simultaneously we were trading Apple, we were trading AMD, Nvidia, and Tesla. So we were aggressive with these stocks because we patiently waited for the setup. Once the setup formed, then we just attack. So entered long and then just covering partialing 25%. So we entered long here at 341.44, partialing. So that's a dollar move, partial again. So 341, 342, a dollar move, 343, a dollar move, partialing here, and look at that last the highest partial that we did there. So we were 341.49, 346.72. So we're talking about $5 move there. Now, considering that that's 25% and then we trail our stop just at the VWAP, because expect that it will test the VWAP, and we were all out. So with that, we were able to get 2,500 with MSTR, that $5 move. We waited, 9 EMA play, we call it out, and that's how we trade. So what you want and how you can build consistency is you tell the stock, what you want the stock to do, you want the stock to do, meaning you already have a strategy in your head and you're waiting for that strategy to come into play. If the setup is there, then you go. But it's not the other way around. You don't chase the stock should adapt to your strategy. If it doesn't, then that means there's no setup, no trades to take there. So we were able to capture that move. So this strategy right here is an opening range breakout. This strategy right here is a 9 EMA play. So two strategy that we always used, most especially the 9 EMA, rinse and repeat. So that's how you can build consistency. So that's the MSTR. Now at this time, the 10, we saw a bounce in the market. So SPY at 10 right here, you see how SPY have created this doji, and that at that doji it formed and respected the 9 EMA, 9 exponential moving average, acted as a support and bounced from there. So what it did was yesterday's closing price, almost close to that yesterday's closing price, SPY found a support there. When we saw SPY creating that support, we were calling out, we are watching. I even shared my other screen where we're watching Apple, AMD, Nvidia, Tesla for a bounce in the 9 EMA, and sure enough, it did not disappoint. So that's what we did. So first is, let's look at Tesla. So at 10 a.m., SPY is bouncing. We're watching the rest of individual stocks for a bounce in the 9 EMA, and we just rode it up. So Tesla already created a doji. You have the 9 EMA. See how you just keep on repeating the same setup. So we did a 9 EMA in MSTR. Now we're doing a 9 EMA in Tesla as well. So Tesla, you have the 9 EMA here. You have, we're testing the low of the day. You have the doji, signs of indecision. Overall market, SPY is bouncing. So we went above the doji. So we went long and then trailing our stop loss. Now considering that we were not able to capture all the moves of Tesla, and Tesla only gave us $32, but that's how you find consistency. I wasn't paying so much attention with Tesla because at this point, at 10 a.m., we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 5 open position to the long. We have a very small position to that 5 individual stocks that we were simultaneously trading, but at the same time monitoring 4 to 5 stocks that you are currently in. It will be very difficult to add a position and build up a position. What we were just trying to do is to make sure that it doesn't turn as a red trade. So as soon as it pops a little bit, take some 25% out and trail our stop loss above our entry so it doesn't turn red to us. So that's the Tesla trade. Next one is Apple. So Apple here, we did Apple as a VWAP play. So what I saw with Apple and that caught my attention is the daily. Look at the daily here. Daily is very strong with the hammer from yesterday. So you have the hammer here already screaming at you that I am strong. So that's the one. The reason why I considered Apple to trade today. You have a strong setup. You have hammer yesterday. It's consolidating. We're lacking volume here. That's why I just opened a small position at the VWAP, potential for it to break the high of the day. So what I did not like about Apple that makes it not an A+ setup is, although you have a hammer right here, but look at the wick right here. You have so much wick at the 15 minutes that you can already imagine, even just looking at the 15 minutes, what is happening behind the smaller time frame. So that's how you get to dissect a stock. Even without me looking at the smaller time frame, I already know how. So let's do the smaller time frame here at the pre-market. Look at how not clean the pre-market looks like. Those wick. So that can be large institutional traders that's trading the stock. And as a retail trader, what you wanted to do is focus on the stocks that retail traders are actually trading as well, because that's where you can have, aside from the consistency, I know I've been using that word for a while, but is the easy trade, because the goal here is to trade and do an easy trade that is so obvious for the move. You don't want to get stuck in the choppiness, in the consolidation, because one of the reasons why we went to day trading is because we wanted to do something else with our time, not get stuck in the consolidation. All right, SPY is having a pullback, hence Apple is having a pullback as well. So with Apple, we did a VWAP play. So at 940, SPY at 940, above the VWAP, looks like above the VWAP, and SPY is about to create a new high of the day. We rode Apple above the VWAP, taking very small trade here added to the position. Now look at what we did at 950 before it even pull us down and not make a profit of it, because we made $28 here. But you have to consider what the overall market is doing. So at 950, we just went all out here. Look at what SPY did at 950. 950, SPY lost the VWAP, and that's the reason why we had a tight stop loss in Apple. Because if SPY lost the VWAP and had that pullback, then Apple, which for the most part mirrors the SPY, or the other way around as well, can have that pullback as well. That's why I got a very tight stop loss just above my entry, giving us a profit of $28. I wasn't able to ride this trend up. That also formed a 9 EMA because we were trading other stocks. Next, AMD. AMD, we were calling out as well, looking at the daily. Daily looks like it's just consolidating. Now, what I was calling out was we have our pre-market high, pre-market low all the way here, 117. Now, what is the next support? Next support is 115.3, which we place our level here, 115.3. Now, at 115.3, that would be the interesting support that I will start considering AMD for a trade. Now, why did we enter AMD at this level instead of waiting until 115.3? Well, obviously, you have the S4 there and the S4 acted. So now we're switching it up to a pivot point analysis. S4 acted as a strong support. Look at how strong that support is, because at that 5 minutes, it already moved from 115.65 all the way to 116.24. Smaller time frame, that is at 10 right here, boom, you have your entry there. So you have your doji, it's now moving above the 90 EMA, we entered long there, and since we have a couple of stocks that we are currently trading, we weren't able to add to this position, but we were just managing it very carefully. And we took some partial here. The reason why I partial like crazy here is because at 10.10, let's see what the overall market is doing. 10.10, it's above the VWAP, thinking that it can be a strong stock, but I have 3 to 4 other positions that open. My priority here is to take some partial and put my stop loss above where I entered, and that's the priority. So although I'm not able to add to the position having 3 to 4 stocks that are currently open, priority is not make this trade as a red trade. So with AMD, we were able to go all out at this level 116 with just a 400 shares. That's only 66. I don't care if it's just $66. What you wanted to do is maximize the profit on those move that is moving exponentially. AMD did not move exponentially, so I'll take that $66. And then NVIDIA, we were trading NVIDIA as well, together with the rest of the stocks for a 9 EMA trade. Now, NVIDIA, one can argue, well, it's not really a 9 EMA. You have the moving average there, so you have the 9 and you have the 20. So what I saw with NVIDIA, together with the rest of the stocks, is at that 10, wow, this is about to test. This will test 129.98 if SPY loses that support at 582. So at 10, look at this one. At 10, NVIDIA broke below the 9 EMA, but look at the 20 exponential moving average. It is acting as a very strong support. So I entered long there, 133, and partialing 25%, putting my stop loss above my entry. So since it's a very small share size, 400 share size, we only got 67 there. So, but we were still able to manage this the best we can, even with 3, 4 other stocks that are currently open. Next one is, I think we did discuss Tesla here. Tesla was that for the bounce. So yeah, with that, we're ending the day with 2,700 profit. And the thing that we get to do today is first opening range breakout, which we did in MSTR. So opening range breakout here. Then we did a 9 EMA play. And the rest of the stock, Tesla was a 9 EMA right here. Apple was a VWAP play with a backup, of course, of the daily that has that strong hammer. So we have the VWAP, and then AMD reversal, which is it reverses in the S4, so that's the pivot point. And then NVIDIA 20 EMA exponential trade, and that's pretty much it. So strategies that we get to do, we don't like to make it complicated. What our goal every day when we trade is what's the easy trade to do. What is the trade that we're not going to stack in consolidation and we are able to manage our risk because there's a defined stop loss as well as the potential to move higher. So, we did have a runner, which is MSTR, and yeah, we'll call it a day. What is SPY doing? SPY retested the support, which is close to the low of the day, 581, and it's now bouncing up. Look at, all right, volume bar starting to pick up, but nothing compared to this volume bar right here, 225. Another rejection there. Yeah, SPY can just consolidate all day today. So up by $1.73. Let's see if there's any other easy trade that we get to do. All right, AMD here created a double bottom. So that's another strategy here. So at the 5 minutes, it looks like first you have the first touch at 115, second touch at 115.52 and bouncing up there. What I don't like about this is, let's see, look at the volume bar here. There's not a lot of volume bar, so that's not really gonna create enough momentum unless SPY really start to pick up a momentum there or the volume bar starts to pick up, then that can turn the tide. Nvidia here. Nvidia, what I don't like about Nvidia, it still has a support all the way down here in 130. Volume bar is not a lot. It can just consolidate from there. So looking for an easy trade, AMD is creating a double bottom. MSTR created a new low. Tesla having that R3 in the 5 minutes. So we have that pivot point analysis, R3 as a support there. Still has a support all the way down here, 405 or 406. So it can test that support as well. What else? So yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you guys have any questions about any day trading questions, please feel free to email us out. We're more than happy to help you guys on any day trading questions. We always like to make day trading the easiest possible, and the way that we get to do that is through a rinse and repeat strategy, as well as a strategy that we just get to do all over again. And that's how you are able to build consistency. You don't have to complicate trading. It's already hard enough to, pick which stock to trade. So the last thing that you want is make it complicated. So with that, for those of you guys who have questions on where to begin on how to day trade for a living, please feel free to check our website out. It's called ecourseunlock.com. And in that website, you'll see, what we're up to. So we have our day trading tab there, our syllabus is there. So you'll see what services we offer. Syllabus is more than 64 hours of learning. We add to the content weekly, so learning never stops. And, just like what we mentioned, the goal is to make it a rinse and repeat, so you get to see the consistency and you get to really get money from the market and not the other way around. We're also into real estate now. So what we've been doing is day trading is the income generator. Once you get that set amount, then you invest it in and diversify it in different forms of investment. And we like tangible asset, which is, that real estate. So please check that one out. And with that, thank you so much for watching. We'll do this again next week. We are live every Tuesday, 9:30 when the market opens, and we call out trades. And again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye for now. What would you do if you have more time in your hand? What would you do if money is not the driving force for you to work? What if you have to get up in the morning, not because you have to clock in at work? What if you have to roll out of your bed to do what you love to do? For instance, for you to travel, spend time with your loved one, follow your passion, maybe do a volunteer work. Did you ever dream of reclaiming more time in a day, or ever wanted to start your own business so you can experience more autonomy, not having to report to a boss, and having the liberty to make your own decision or your own schedule? And I am not talking about retirement. Every day, we get a fresh 24 hours to make that decision on how we would spend that 24 hours. Every day, we are in a crossroad. Our decision will determine our future. In day trading, you can reclaim more time from your day by cutting the working hours to less than 10 hours per week, so you can focus on what matters most. Because honestly, for some, that 10 hours is only their commute time per week to work. After all, we all have seen this ad before. So reclaim more time through day trading so you can focus on what matters most. After all, we are all in a borrowed time, so make it count. Click the link below to learn how to day trade for a living. Hi, my name is Mary and I'm a day trader. So what do you value the most? Is it family? Is it your relationship? Is it health? Is it growth? Or maybe a status? Or maybe